What is up, everybody? It is Chris from ProPhoto, and this is our weekly live show we call Geared Up, where we talk about lighting, tips and tricks, we break down modifiers, we just generally have fun with lighting. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We've got people in the chats. I'm going to be monitoring it myself as well on YouTube. Kate's got us on the Facebooks. So if y'all have any questions, ask. We'd love to answer them. So that being said, what are we talking about today? Today is all about these two bad boys, the WideZoom reflector and the TeleZoom reflector. These are some of our like OG hard reflectors, along with things like our Magnum reflector, our Zoom reflector, narrow beams and stuff like that. And these things are pretty cool. They have some fun characteristics, and we're going to play with those characteristics and kind of talk about, you know, why you use one or why you use the other one. I mean, size-wise, they're pretty similar, but if you know, you could look at the inside and tell the finishes are different. One of them's clearly deeper than the other one. So let's dive into those things right now. So let's start with the WideZoom. So this is a really, really cool reflector. It has a lot of the same characteristics that you would get out of something like a Magnum reflector, but because the inside of the reflector has kind of like this sandblasted finish, I mean, I'm trying to see if I can, there you go, you can kind of see it shining against the light. It's kind of matted. It's got a little bit of reflectivity. It still is pretty dang efficient. Silver finishes in general are pretty efficient, but because of that sandblasted texture, the light isn't as pointed. So you're still getting a nice hard light. A lot of people really like this in the fashion industry because of its evenness, but it's still got some punch to it. And once again, that's going to be one of those characteristics of a silver modifier. But again, the sandblasted finish really does a nice job of evening that light out. Again, zoom spread wise, the cool thing about the original hard reflectors with this longer collar is we're able to fit this sticker on here to show you some of the zoom capabilities of it. So at a zoom position of 10 on like an acute head or a pro head, you're going to get a 72-degree beam spread, so something a little bit tighter, whereas at like your level 6, it's going to start to open up a little bit more. So it's got a nice wide spread. Also, really good modifier for lighting backdrops if you're trying to make an even get even light on your backdrop. This is a really good move for it as well. Really fun modifier. Then you have the TeleZoom or the cone head, whatever you want to call it. But this is a much longer clearly reflector. It's made to take light and throw it a long distance. It's going to have a lot of things in common with the Zoom reflector. One of the things that is going to be different about it, first and foremost, besides the shape, is that the light is deeper. It's a little tighter. It doesn't have quite the degree spread that your Zoom reflector is going to have, and that's okay. This is going to give you a different light characteristics. In comparison to the WideZoom that we were showing, you can see that this has a really, really reflective material finish. It's not quite as like punchy as something like the Magnum reflector with all those little facets that really gathers up all that light and jams it forward. But this thing is still incredibly efficient. It pumps out a lot of light. I think you can get up to 2 stops more light out of this bad boy as well. But again, it's a really long light. It's a really deep light. So it's very, very cool. So these things were originally designed to be used with like I said, a pro head or an acute head, some of them with an exposed dome. And if you know anything about a lot of ProPhoto stuff these days, I'll grab the other light that we're going to be using today. So, yeah, I just jammed my face right up into it. Yeah, you probably shouldn't have cut to my dome being like right in everybody's face. So, if you're used to anything that we do here at ProPhoto, you'll know that a lot of our newer lights have these flat fronts on them. We do that because, one, it keeps especially in a world where people are moving a lot more, it keeps the internal things like flash tubes and modeling lamps and stuff like that a lot safer. It helps out a little bit more whenever it takes a hit. You know, you might break the glass, but hopefully you're able to keep the other stuff intact on the inside. Downside is some of these things don't work quite the way that they were designed to work with the dome exposed. I think sometimes I'm trying to think of the word, the importance of the dome is a little overblown. There's some modifiers that absolutely need it. So if you're talking about something like a narrow beam reflector, 100% need a dome. You have to have it. But the cool thing is we made a dome attachment for the D2s, the B1s, the D1s, the B1Xs that you can pop on this and get a lot of those same characteristics. So what we're going to do today, on top of show you kind of the zoom spreads and what the two modifiers look like difference, we're going to use a dome. I have a dome on this D2 up here. So we're just going to switch the lights out back and forth and see, like, does it really make that big of a difference to have a dome or not a dome, especially when it comes to some of these hard reflectors that were designed around using your pro heads, your cute heads, things that were originally designed with that dome and that flash tube exposed. So with that being said, let's jump into it.
Shall we take some pictures?
Let's take some photos, some Frodos. So I think, I'm trying to think about the easiest way of doing this. I think what I may do is I'm going to take some images and I think I'm going to take all the images with the dome on, just for the sake of it being there, and then we'll take the light off. Then we'll throw them out there. I think what I'll do is I'll just make a point to label each one of my photos. Let me just make sure that. Yeah, I just, whenever we're in the heat of the moment, I don't always do that. So what I'm going to do really quick is I just want to make sure that I'm going to put this in. That it was taken that way. As I change the name, it shouldn't mess up the order in which the photos are. So we're going to shoot a relatively tight photo on Kate. You know what? I almost wonder if we should shoot it wide so everybody can see how the light falls. I don't necessarily, and then we could towards the end we could shoot something a little bit tighter. So I'm gonna let me change out my lens really fast, just because I think.
Well, what lens are we taking?
Oh no, we're not taking that one. Yeah, as my face again is jammed into the screen. We're just gonna go. I was shooting the test stuff earlier at 85 millimeters or 56 on my Fuji, and I think at least going 35 to kind of show you the background might be the better move. Woo! Almost killed myself. So let's throw this lens over here. Sit it on top of a 3D printer. That seems like it makes the most sense.
I think you should also show them the image you were.
Yeah. I think what we'll do at the end is I'll show them. Yeah, I'll show them the image we made. But at least this way, because one of the things that we're going to be exploring is kind of the coverage of these reflectors and how even stuff is. So I think it just makes a little more sense to have some more background in the shot. So I think that's the move here. So we're going to go full body for this. Cool. So let's just make sure we're nice and even there. Perfect. I've got my remote. Let's throw on the WideZoom first. You know what I didn't do? I didn't crack open my YouTube to see if I have questions. So I'm going to do that while I'm putting this reflector on. And that way I should be able to. Oh, and I'm loud. I can hear myself talking. Okay, cool. So we're going to go WideZoom first. Again, sandblasted finish. And we're going to start off with the zoom position of 4, and then we're going to jam it up to a zoom position. So on the D2s, as opposed to, I just got taller because I'm on an Apple box, just so you know. Didn't know if that got weird or anything. So on the D2s, they don't zoom to 10 like your Pro and acute heads do. They only go to 8. So we're just going to do that. We're going to go from 4 to 8, see how the light falls. We're doing this again with the dome. So let's start with a zoom position of 4. I think, yeah, that should be good. So let's.
I'm trying to see if they could see that.
If they could see what?
They could see the zoom position.
They might have. Yeah, the numbers are pretty small, but just to know, this shot's zoom position. Yeah, this shot's a zoom position of 4. That is the, I believe that is the tighter of the beam spreads, 48 degrees. So here we go. We just
Try to do. What with my hands?
just go with what we were doing with the tight shot, and then we'll show them what we were doing with the tight shot. 3. Oh, I said 3, and I took the photo. So there's the first shot. That's with the WideZoom at its tightest setting for the most part. So let's push it all the way back to 8. Let's open it up a little bit more. You might be able to see the light itself smooth out. You can see it kind of self-diffused itself, which is kind of neat. So Let's jump in here. This may also, by zooming it back, we may have lost a little bit of exposure. We're gonna see in this shot right here. So 3, 2, 1. We pull them up side by side and see what we're looking like. Yeah, the exposure dropped a little bit. I think I might bump the power up. I'm actually gonna, let's see, wide zoom dome 4. I'm trying to do this so we can, come on, Christopher. I'm clicking all kinds of stuff. It's all good, yep. Let's go.
Look pretty good so far.
Wide zoom dome 8. Cool, and let's do one, let's power up just a little bit. Here we go, Kate. I'm trying to remember today too, like I get pretty hyped up whenever we're doing stuff and I talk really fast and I'm trying to like exaggerate a little bit more and like slow it down and I feel like I'm like snail's pacing it right now. So here we go.
No, you're still fast.
Am I still really speedy? Oh crap. What do I have to be to actually slow down? Oh.
Hold on, I'm falling off of an apple box.
It's live.
Let's try this again.
Here we go. I powered up about a half stop. I think that's probably fine. 3, 2, 1. That looks nice. So let's go to, let's take this one. Cool, yeah. So I'm gonna get rid of this one and let's change this. Let's go wide dome 8. Cool. So now we have those. Let's go to the TeleZoom. I'm normally not making notes on the photos, but I think, especially with us, gonna change out to go with the using dome versus no dome. I think it's gonna make a big difference. One, in expediting the process and actually being able to find what we're looking for, but also just a little bit more organization. There's nothing wrong with that. So zoom position of 4 on this is the tightest beam spread. I'm sure the light just got very intense.
So bright.
Yeah. The cool thing about this is it's a lot more focused. It points the light out a lot more, so we should see some cooler vignetting around Kate. So it's acting more like a spotlight. I know that I'm gonna need to power down. So let's go take it down. Let's try a stop and a half, 3. I'm gonna try to get that vignette in there a little bit more. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. Cool, I actually think I can power down another. Oh no, that's pretty good. Maybe half stop, let's see. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, there we go. So again, very efficient modifier. So let's make sure we go Tele Dome 4, perfect. And then now let's take this and let's take it to 8, which is the furthest I can zoom, again with the D2. On the Pro heads, you're gonna have the ability to zoom even more, make the light a little bit wider. Oh, and dying again. Apparently I've got a death wish today.
We are not very good with our Apple Box.
I think I probably should have not Apple Box today because apparently I can't function. So here we go. So this is, I probably need to power it, let's say. So with the zoom back, it's not as pointed, so let's take it up about a half a stop. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. Cool, the vignette opens up a little bit more. You can still see it pretty good, but it's a really, really pretty light. I think we got the exposure right on the money. So here's what we're gonna do. From here, Tele Dome 8, perfect. So now let's flip these lights out. Let's go flat front and let's see what's happening. I don't see any questions on the tubes of views. So let's.
What's up, Joey?
What up, Joey? Cool. So I don't want to move the light stand. It's the one thing I'm trying to make sure it's the reason I decided to stand on an Apple Box today, because I wanted to try to keep this as genuine as possible. And just so you can see on the wide shot, that's the dome on the front of the D2. Pretty cool little modifier. And again, it works on a D1, it works on a B1 and a B1X. So as well as the D2. So
hello,
if you have
Anthony. Hello, Johnny.
What up, Johnny Anthony? What happening? Cool. So let's pop this bad boy into place. I want to make sure that I'm on the right channel and stuffs. So let's do that. I like the longer time that we're taking with these because I feel like we can,
less rush.
yeah, I feel like we can breathe. I feel like we can explore this a little bit more, which is kind of fun. I get a lot of questions about the flat front stuff. So, you know, it makes a difference. Does it make that much of a difference? You know, we'll look here in just a second and decide. But, you know, Andrea Beluso and I did a whole bunch of stuff a few years ago in the studio at Profoto trying to decide whether or how much of a difference it made. And honestly, we were like, I don't know that it does, but we'll let you decide. I'm not gonna tell you what to think. So cool.
Shall we?
We shall. Let's go modeling lamp back on. That's a little bit lower power modeling lamp. It's all good though. And I'm going to, I know that my power's way off on this, so I'm gonna take a quick TTL shot just to get into the ballpark. It may be off a little bit and we'll adjust. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Yes, so the TTL popped it up really high. So let's pull this back about a stop. Cool, here we go. 3, 2, 1. There we go. So this is, and honestly, I want to, I think I'm going to power up just a little bit. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Cool. So that's kind of neat. So let's do Tele no dome, and that's at 8, I believe. So right off the bat, I can tell a light difference there, which is kind of neat. And we'll explore that a little bit more. But let's take this to 4. Cool. Lock it into place because it's kind of on the edge of the light. And then I need to reposition this thing up a little bit. There we go. Cool. And the last shot could have been a positioning thing. We'll find out here in just a second. So I think I'm probably gonna need to power down a skosh. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Very cool. So pretty cool there. So let's go Tele no dome 4. Perfect. Now let's throw the wide zoom on there. And let's see. With the TeleZoom, I can already tell the difference between using it with a dome and without a dome. And I'll show you what it is that I see here in a second. You'll see it clear as day as well. But it makes a difference. Let's see. I think another thing, with this light, I don't have the modeling lamp set as bright, so I think it might be kind of affecting the color a little bit, so it's a little bit different. So here we go. Let's see this. I think I'm gonna have to want it powering up. This is the WideZoom. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Yep, we're gonna power up. Let's go. Let's see what 2 stops does. 3, 2, 1. I want to double check that and see if I need to come back about a half a stop. No, that's good. 2 stops is good there. So let's go wide no dome 4. Perfect. And then we're on the last one, and then we're going to compare these bad boys. And then you can decide what you think. The cool thing about these reflectors too is these aren't some things that you have to buy. Like if you aren't even sure like how much you might like one of these or the other, you pick one of these up at a rental house really, really cheap and experiment. And if you're using them for a gig, like just bill them to your client if you can. You know, make it, you know, you should be charging for your equipment that you bring. So here we go. Let's do.
Sorry, I see some questions.
Cool. Let's just take the. I'll be standing around and asking. And then you know what we should do? We should. I'll throw my 56. We'll take the actual shot that we were photographing.
Okay,
Yeah.
great, perfect.
So we go.
Sorry, hold on.
I might have to power up a little bit. 3, 2, 1. Let's see. Let's give it just a skosh more. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. I like that. That looks way better. Cool. So I'm gonna switch my lenses really fast. You can kind of see what we were playing with when we were originally shooting this. So much tighter shot, more of an 85mm look. Like I said, we just shot the wide stuff so that you could see, all the fall off and stuff. But here's where we were going with this. 3, 2, 1. So really cool look, really even light. And then let's do the same shot really fast with the TeleZoom. And I think I'm gonna spot it out a little bit more. Put it at that zoom position of 4.
Have the back head tilt or forward?
You like tilt your head towards the background a little bit more. Yeah. And then let's come down and stop. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, the TeleZoom is way more efficient than the wide zoom. 3, 2, chin down a little bit. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Gorgeous. And so now you can see kind of the difference too in the two hero shots. So sick. Let's talk. Let's chat and kind of break these things down. I know once again. Yeah, thanks, Kate.
You're welcome.
I know that we took our time kind of going through making sure that these things are labeled, but this should also make this portion of what we're doing way easier to sort out. So I'm going to kind of set this over here to the side because I haven't seen any questions on the tube yet. So I'm going to set you guys over there. So let's go up here and pick out our photos. So let's start with a TeleZoom. So let's go TeleZoom with the dome, and then we're going to go TeleZoom. Actually, let's do it this way. Let's compare the same positions, dome and no dome, right? So here's TeleDome 4. I think, I might actually have a warming dome. But for the most part, they're relatively similar. Let's see, dome, no dome 4, and then dome 4. So yeah, they're pretty similar. I feel like the dome is a little bit tighter. It could be a difference between just my light positioning, because I can tell right here with the dome, I might have been shooting a little more over this direction. But for the most part, pretty similar characteristics. The highlights are incredibly similar. The color's a little bit different, but then again, we make a dome that warms a little bit, so the dome could have been warming.
Did you just answer that? Why is there a lot of color change?
Yeah, it could be that. It also could be the other D2 that I had on's modeling lamp, the 300 watt halogen, which is very, very hot, was at full power. Caitlin can attest to the fact that that thing was at full blast.
Oh yeah.
Whereas this one, I forgot to check that before I turned it on, so the continuous light wasn't at full blast. So there could have been some color infiltration there. I don't know, but my guess is I might have a different color dome. Is all it is. Or again, I'm also a dummy. I could have hit something on my camera, but I think it has something to do the difference between the dome and the glass. So let's see. Let's go and do the zoom position of 8. Let's see, Tele no dome 8. So I think this is pretty telling. Dome, no dome. So at 8. You're still utilizing more of the flash, or more of the reflector is able to get more light around it. Whereas when you're at that zoom position of 8 with no dome, it's really, really dependent. What's going on?
I just can't get you in the shot.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't see half your noggin.
Maybe I need to scooch a little bit forward. There we go. Something like that.
Yeah, let's see if we got you now. Let's
Cool.
see. Oh, there we are.
Sick.
Perfect.
So, and that's going to have more to do with, here, let's take this thing down. So when you push the light to a certain point, the dome is still shooting light around this and it's bouncing all over the place, right? So when you have the flat front, it's not necessarily throwing light to the side as efficiently. It does throw light to the side. Don't get it wrong. Just because it's a flat front, it still throws light 180 degrees. It's just not as efficient when it throws that light to the sides. So because it's less efficient and you're utilizing more the outer portion of the reflector, it's going to keep that light really tight, and that's what you're seeing with the no dome shot here with the TeleZoom at that position of 4. So at a position of 4 with the dome, again, you're able to utilize and throw some light around the reflector that you're not able to throw around the reflector when you're using no dome. So that's pretty telling there with the TeleZoom reflector. Again, light's still really beautiful, but if you kind of compare the difference between, here we go. Here's the, the TeleZoom at 4 with no dome versus the TeleZoom at 8 with no dome. There's not a huge difference in the light. Whereas, let's throw all the Teles up there at the same time. So whereas if you're using a dome, the difference between 4 and 8 is big, right? So you're getting some more coverage. It's not quite as vignetted. There's still a vignette there, 100%. But with a dome, you have a few more zooming options than you're gonna have no dome. So that's kind of cool. So now let's do a wide zoom, no dome, and then wide dome here, bop. So here, these both are at zoom position of 4, if I'm not mistaken. I want to make sure I have them. So no dome, 4, dome 4. Okay, cool. Here's the same position. So no dome, the light's a little bit wider. I could have also aimed it a little bit more over, but I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think just the way the light's being gobbled up with the wide zoom and no dome, it's a little bit wider, a little more even. If you look at the highlight here on the shoulder, actually, you know what? Let's zoom in here to the shoulder a little bit more. Now that we see in the background, let's go in a little bit tighter just so we can kind of see the differences. There we go. So very, very even. There might be a little bit more of a highlight here on the shoulder. Granted, there's less shoulder exposed over here, but there might be a little bit more of the highlight over here on the shoulder than with the dome. So and it could just be more of a thing of some more of that light being pointed straight forward, because the dome or the no dome is designed to keep the light in a pretty good tight pattern. So we might be getting a little bit more highlight here just from that directness, whereas the dome is kind of meant to throw the light all over the place. But still, pretty similar lights, a little bit wider it feels like with the no dome, but this over here feels smoother. So let's go to the 8. So let's go wide dome 8 and then wide no dome 8 as soon as I can find it. Tele. All right, hold on a second. TeleDome 8, TeleDome 8, Tele no dome, and then okay, here we go. Wide. Boom. Wide no dome 8. I actually didn't label that one, so I messed myself over with it. So, but light-wise, pretty similar again. I would actually say this time on the shoulder. Granted, I think the exposure is pretty close. I would say at the zoom position of 8, they're incredibly similar. I think the TeleZoom, no dome, the dome makes a little bit more of a difference than the wide zoom is going to make with the dome versus no dome, and that has a lot to do with the inherent qualities of what the wide zoom is made for. It's meant to be a wide throw of light. It's meant to be really smooth. That's what that sandblast does. But you can see here the highlight on the shoulder, very similar. Again, I would say that there might be a little more highlight on the no dome, or actually I take it back. This is the dome shot, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that should be the dome shot. This is the one I took first. Okay, cool. So this actually seems to be the one with the dome. I see a little more highlight, but then again, it just could be because the shoulder's a little bit less exposed there and we're not seeing the exact same spot. So I'm gonna say that these two are pretty dang similar. And then, just to kind of show you what we were working with here, let's get rid of these. So, and then this is your wide zoom. Again, these are both no dome, but the two reflectors give off very different feels, right? So again, look at the highlights, all really even, really smooth. That's what that sandblasted interior is going to give you of that wide reflector, whereas something like your TeleZoom is going to be highly efficient, very pointed. And you can tell here too, at that position of 4, we have a lot more vignette. We're able to keep that light nice and tight. We're able to bring the power of the flash down because the reflector is so efficient. So very cool stuff. Did anybody have any other questions?
We might have to discuss this on another day, I think, but Joey's asking if light modifiers to shoot without shadows on the white background. He has a client that doesn't want the shadow on the background.
So shadows on the background are just something that it's going to have a lot to do with light position. If you want no shadows in the background at all, your best bet is probably going to be to light the background separately, and just use some lights to get rid of them. You can do it with one light, and I can quickly show you something. You mind jumping in here, Caitlin?
Sure. He's also asking, what kind of backdrops are you using?
So these are just seamless paper. This one's a 12-footer.
You want me to pull up this right here?
Yeah, you can pull up my computer screen real fast. Joey, I'm going to show you really quick how to do it with one light. You're not going to get rid of the shadow, but what you can do is you can use the position of the light to you can use the positioning of the light to kind of make it sink and fade away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my light, I'm going to back it way up. Okay, we're going to use the inverse square law to get what we want out of this. So we're going to back the light way up. It's probably how far, and you want to get your client relatively close to the background. So get pretty close, a little bit more. Okay, cool. Client relatively close to the background. I'm going to use the wide zoom because I want the light to be pretty even. So let's go wide zoom. And I'm going to keep it at, I'm going to go to 8 just to keep the light super even. Let's go here. Does that look like it's pointing at you?
A little over. There.
Cool. So what you can do is you can use light positioning to try to mitigate the shadows as much as possible. The first thing you're going to want to do, the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to try to get the light directly in front of your subject. It's going to be more of a kind of a butterfly light pattern. And then you can actually raise the light up a little bit. I know we're digressing from it. I just want to see if I can show Joey something really fast. Because we're kind of in the same realm of things. This is how you can do it with one light, but if you have to get rid of the shadow completely, the best move is to light the background separately. So let's go here. I have wires everywhere. Let's go. You ready, Kate? I'm going to go to TTL mode just to get the light reset. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. So you can get pretty close with, and then I could even point this down a little bit more and raise the light up a little bit higher. Here we go, Kate. 3, 2, 1. Cool. So hopefully that helps you out, Joey. I'm gonna move this light out of the way so we can finish talking. But again, you could raise the light up higher, shoot it directly at them, and you can get rid of some of that background. And then honestly, I could have played with my exposure a little bit more to get it a little more crisp, but I was just showing you kind of quickly how you could do it. Cool. Sick. Oh, yep, I gotta turn this bad boy off. That's a lot of light hitting me in the face. Sick. So again, you could just use, with the one light setup, you're not gonna get it, you're not gonna get rid of the shadow completely, but you can get rid of a lot of it. So hopefully that helped, Joey. So just back the light up really, really far, keep the subject close to the background if you're doing it with one light, and just try to play with the light positioning to move the shadow around. Cool. Is that it? Are we good? Cool. So that was really fun, exploring the differences between the WideZoom and the TeleZoom. The reflectors are really, really cool. If it's something that you're not sure if you want to add it to your arsenal, again, rental houses have these things, and you can just try them out. Hard reflectors aren't terribly expensive to rent, which is kind of fun. So, if you like some of the looks that we got out of the TeleZoom with that kind of like spotlight effect that we were getting, but keeping highly efficient, really, really cool. The nice thing about that is you're gonna be able to back that light up really, really far and throw it. So cool stuff. And then the wide zoom is really even side to side. You can even see with that last shot that we were showing Joey, we were trying to get a white background but mitigate some of those shadows. So really cool stuff. I hope you enjoyed this week's live. If you have any questions, there are, if you were watching this on profoto.com, there's, the products are popping up around the edges. I forgot to say this in the beginning, totally forgot. And you can click on those and it'll give you more information. But if you have some deeper questions and you want to explore some more things about the stuff, you can click on one of the link in the description, and that will take you to a one-on-one sesh. Could be with Gide, could be with Anders Hanala, a couple of good dudes who are our product experts and know a ton of stuff about all things Profoto. So if you want to jump in on one of those, you can just click the link in the comments section and you can see that for yourself. So in the meantime, I hope you have an awesome week. We'll see you next week. Peace out, everybody. Later.